I'm not sure I'll ever see another season where Shohei Ohtani is not the MVP of baseball. I've had a few days to think about this. It was announced on Thursday that Shohei Ohtani was unanimously voted as the National League MVP. And you may think that's amazing. How do you get to be unanimous? Well, there's 30 voters in a particular year who vote for NL MVP. They're members of the BBWAA, and they vote. It's different rules than Hall of Fame, but it's the writers voting. Ohtani has won 4 MVPs the last 5 years, and every single one of those 4 has been unanimous. Twice for the Angels, twice for the Dodgers. He's won the MVP and a World Series in both his years for the Dodgers while getting paid $4 million in cash. Shohei Ohtani is way more than what the Dodgers could have expected. Rest of the league be damned. Shohei Ohtani has shown that as a one-way player, he is the best in baseball. As a two-way player, he is better than the best in baseball. What Shohei Ohtani was able to do this year, where he came back and he saved his arm coming back from his second Tommy John. He had his innings mapped out perfectly in a plan that was agreed to before they started, that assumed that they would go through the World Series. Trust me, him starting the games that he started, like Game 4, that is not, where should we start Ohtani? It is all premeditated. It is all meant to keep him healthy and available as he plays his 32nd year on this earth. It is maximizing the number of years of his 10-year deal that he can do this. This is like the Patrick Mahomes dream, MVP and champion every year. Congratulations, Shohei. He said through an interpreter, which he doesn't need anymore, but he said, it's definitely special. It makes it special because it was unanimous, and I'd like to thank all the writers for voting for me. Ohtani's had enough scandal to last a lifetime this season, but it all seems to get covered up by winning and by his talent, doesn't it? And my God, does he have talent. The American League was more interesting. Aaron Judge was the MVP, as we told you he would be on Wednesday's show. Aaron Judge was named MVP. He got 17 of the 30 first-place ballots. I went on a radio show, Coca, in Seattle, right after Cal Raleigh finished second in the American League MVP. And I was happy for Seattle and for the Mariners, and I'm happy for Cal. But who exactly was going to get the MVP over Aaron Judge? I just can't possibly think of one. Aaron Judge has won 3 of the last 4 AL MVPs. It's just spectacular. Judge and Ohtani are back-to-back. They were the best last year. They're the best this year. What makes you think they won't be the best next year? There is such a canyon-like difference between where Judge and Ohtani are and where the rest of the league is. Yes, Cal Raleigh had a season for the ages. Seattle, you know this. I'm not telling you something you don't know. Cal Raleigh finishing in the top 5 for MVP next year would be a Christmas miracle. Aaron Judge finishing in the top 5 for MVP next year would be an absolute expectation, if not a certainty. I'm super excited to watch what happens in baseball here next year. Because if you look at the Cy Young and the MVP were the 2 biggest awards, 3 out of the 4 winners were repeat winners from last year. Only Paul Skeens was able to move in there and get the National League Cy Young. And I could argue that Skubal, Skeens, Ohtani, and Judge, right now, if I spoke to our friends at DraftKings, right now, my guess is those are the 4 favorites to do it again next year, which would make it 3 in a row for 3 of the awards, and Skeens going back-to-back. When you run a team in a sport and you know that there is no chance for you to have anything other than the best of the best, when you are running the Yankees or running the Dodgers and you know that you've got the money and the quality that exhibits itself, basically manifests itself as the MVP of a league, And the MVP, the writers have reckless disregard for how much money the player is being made. It doesn't matter who's the most valuable player. The power of knowing you've got that guy, it's intoxicating. When we had Stanton win an MVP in 2017 and you're watching an MVP season and you're watching him hit 59 home runs or 57 home runs and just you're watching a season that you can't believe, you feel so honored that you are in that company for a full year. The problem is there's another side. There's the yang to the yin. There's the negative to the positive. When you run a team that doesn't have these players and you know you're going up against those players and you know there's not one thing you can do, that's not the helplessness that the collective bargaining agreement is trying to address. The helplessness that is the key word used, the hopelessness that is the key word used by negotiators for the commissioner's office and the union. We want every team to have hope. The hopelessness that you feel when you know that you can't get the best, and it's not price, it's just luck. It's just life. There are ways to acquire certain players. There are ways to sign them and trade them or draft them. And there are ways to try to figure out how you can get yourself the best. Maybe you've got the best for a year. Maybe you've got the best for a month and you can live with that positivity. But what Otani and Judge are is not the best for a day, a month, or a year. It seems as though they're going to be the best for a career in a way like the only thing that will ever stop these guys from winning MVPs is Father Time. And if there were ever anyone who would get past Father Time, it's Otani. Just don't think that'll happen. So congratulations to Skubal, Skeens, Judge, Otani. Apologies to Cal, but you guys knew it was coming.